Let us know if you want us to open this up. We have another leather jacket too. You need another jacket, or are you okay for now?
I'm okay for now.
Okay.
Once I start
Okay. Yes. Good morning, everybody. Hihani Lakshji. Kola Yuha Chichab. This is Chase Iron Eyes, and we are here right now at Peehee Mu'huh in the land of the Paiute and the Shoshone people. It's otherwise known as Thacker Pass, and some of you may remember the last time we were out here. They certainly did not have any of the infrastructure built, some of these roads with which they've hauled earth movers into the sacred lands of the Paiute and Shoshone people. This is a highly significant place for our relatives here. Behind the camera over here is a place called Sentinel Butte, which was the site of a massacre, and it's also one of their places where they conduct certain ceremonies, certain fasting ceremonies. They put people up on the hill here, and we have an elder from the Pyramid Lake people who lives now with the Reno Sparks Indian Colony. His name is Dean, and they've offered to give themselves up today and to make a statement and to stand here in prayer, to stand in their ceremony, so their people may know and the world may know that they fully recognize that we're in a crisis, we're in a state of emergency in terms of corporations' abilities to subdue human rights, treaty rights, constitutional rights, and to constantly encroach upon those freedoms that we hold dear, that we know that we can't live without. They're here to let people know that they belong in these sacred spaces, And we're here to let them know that we have their back, that we're here to stand with them. They came here very early in the morning, and you know, this is their land. Right now, the sun is just now rising. We kha right in the morning time, right? It reminds me of Sundance. we got to be ready to get up right as the first early blue light is coming out, so you can prepare for the sacred sun. Prepare for his arrival. And so we came here to do that with our elder here, Dean Barlis, and also Doris Antonio, who is from the Fort McDermott reservation, which is the closest reservation to what is called Thacker Pass or Peehee Mu'huh. But that's what we're out here for today. So when you get this, please share the stream, continue to leave this stream, and if it goes down, then you know, just watch the channels and be prepared to pick the feed back up once we might be live again. We're very thankful to the Indigenous Peoples Movement. We're thankful to Red Road TV, Last Real Indians, Warrior Women, Lakota People's Law Project, and also ProtectThackerPass.org, and the Reno Sparks Indian Colony. Everybody who's maintained a presence and has stood their ground, maybe over a year, maybe going on 2 years. They've done all they can to make sure that we defend the sacred lands, and that we let people know that without free, prior, and informed consent, without our permission, energy infrastructure projects shouldn't be happening in our land. And this is a way that we vote. This is a way that our people voice their concerns and let it be known their advocacy. If you remember, during the Dakota Access Pipeline, those European or white Americans in Bismarck, North Dakota didn't have to take nonviolent direct action or stand in the power of their ceremony, because the oil corporation simply moved the pipeline before they, you know, even had to lift a finger. It's not like that for indigenous nations. Indigenous nations have an ancient obligation to make sure that this life and this world is here for us and for our children, for our posterity, and that's what Dean and Doris are defending here today, is the rights of the unborn, the rights of those yet to come. So we're honored to be able to stand here with them. And like I said, the last time I came here, none of this construction road wasn't here. There was no, I believe these are water pipelines. Lithium mining takes an insane amount of water, something like 500,000 gallons for every ton of lithium. And I don't know the exact numbers, but we're talking millions of tons of recoverable lithium right from this place called Thacker Pass. So our rights are being ignored at every single turn, and sometimes this is the only way that we have to, you know, let the American people, let those institutions of law, institutions of government, be apprised of our rights and how we're being trampled upon. And at every step of the way, the Paiute people, the Shoshone people, have been participating in all of the processes that are available to them. In the law, they call that exhausting all remedies. They've been advocating their position for at least 2 years, according to my recollection. But they're not being heard. They're not. There's no institution, no what appears to be no federal leadership or state leadership that is honoring the treaties that have been made with the Paiute and Shoshone people. In fact, Elon Musk is announcing the potential construction of some sort of plant. I don't know if it's a manufacturing plant or some sort of processing facility and infrastructure near Thacker Pass. In addition to that, the Biden administration has just authorized a $900 million loan to it has to be Lithium America or Lithium Nevada. They're the same company. And there's lies being told. There's propagandizing that is happening, and they're not telling the whole truth about the costs of lithium development. They're just like we completely subsidized and incentivized fossil fuel development in order to create the economy that we have now, the machine that we have now. They're telling those same lies in incentivizing and subsidizing a very, very destructive practice. And we simply can't allow that. So if you're wondering what's going on, if you happen to be up at this hour, I applaud you. But please stick around throughout the duration of however long we're going to be here. We're going to be here standing in solidarity, standing in support of our elder Dean Barlis, who is kind enough, compassionate enough, and courageous enough to stand here today. And to our sister Doris, we want to say thank you, and we know that this is part of their ceremony, this is part of their obligation to defend our right to have connections to the sacred, and we need the land. We need the land and the waters to be intact. We need the land and the waters to be as undisturbed as possible. These are the places where, that's why we defend the sacred sites. That's why we defend the waters, because we don't have a way of life unless those places exist. So with that, I'll say thank you for now. Thank you for joining us, and we appreciate all of the shares, the comments, the likes, and that's how, that's the only way we're seen. That's how the algorithm works. We need you to interact with the broadcast. So, Ake Lila Wopila Tanka Chichapalo. It's very, very good to speak with you all. Thank you.
So, sun's coming up. What you see there in the distance is what they call Sentinel Rock. This whole surrounding Sentinel Rock and this whole valley was the site of a massacre. Somewhere between 31 and 70 people of the Paiute Shoshone were massacred here at this site. This whole valley here that you see will be a mine that stretches miles across and 40 stories deep, going for lithium, the largest deposit in the United States. The Bureau of Land Management ignored, perhaps kept covered up, the acknowledgement, the knowing that this was a massacre site. This was a sacred site. This is the center of this valley. In court documents, they found that the BLM had totally covered up the fact that in their own documents they knew of this massacre site, even though they denied it. And then finally admitted it. Just once things had progressed to the point of no return, they're like, oh yeah, we have some files on the massacre site, yeah. This is sacred land. The water, you can see these mountains surround this valley, the Great Basin, at a time when water is the most important resource we have. So when we stop this live stream, we'll pick it back up. Please share it. My name's Chuck Banner. I'm cameraman here. I've been coming out here. This is a standing rock. This isn't Oak Flats. This is lands wherever extraction economies ignore the indigenous peoples of this land. We're going out on Indigenous Peoples Network, Warrior Women, Lakota Peoples Law Project, Red Road TV, Last Real Indians. Somebody who's kind of eloquent.
The mountains, the streams, the rivers, all the birds, all the creatures who are being affected by this extraction-based economy all over the world. These struggles are all connected, and we're being told that there is a difference between this green energy, this electric vehicle revolution, and the fossil fuel economy that came before, that we all know is such a problem. We're being told that there is a big difference between electric vehicles and what happened previously. But we know that is not true. When you start researching this, it becomes very clear that this is not true. And I'll tell you one story that illustrates this. This Thacker Pass lithium mine in order to extract the lithium out of the earth here, they plan to bring in sulfur to create sulfuric acid to burn the lithium out of the clay soil here. And that sulfur is going to come from oil refineries. Many of you have probably heard of the Alberta tar sands, the largest and most destructive industrial project on the planet. The Alberta tar sands are known for being high sulfur fuel. It's high sulfur oil. And so when that oil is sent to a refinery, a lot of sulfur is removed from it. And then that sulfur is sold to other industries such as this one. This is not a small amount of sulfur that we're talking about that this project will require. It's, for those who have been to New York City and seen the Empire State Building, imagine 2 Empire State Buildings every year. That's how much sulfur they plan to bring in here. 2 Empire State Buildings every single year. Coming from the fossil fuel industry, directly from the oil refineries here, for supposedly green energy. To process the ore that is going to be ripped out of the ground by bulldozers running on diesel fuel, by heavy equipment made out of steel. For those who don't know, the largest iron ore mine, iron ore becomes steel, and steel is really the backbone of an industrial economy in a lot of ways. The largest iron ore mine in the world is the Carajas mine in Brazil, and it's in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. But it's actually what used to be the Amazon rainforest, because thousands of square miles have been cut down around the mine to allow them to dig the open pit, to allow them to create charcoal for smelting the ore. So the raw materials that go into a mine like this, whether we're talking about this pole right here on their security tower, the vehicles that you can see right here, this security shed that this gentleman is sitting inside, the truck right here, all of these are made from raw materials that come from the earth. They come from the earth and they have cost associated. So when we are told this lie, that this is green, that this is good for me, we need to understand that.
So that's Max. One of the key issues is that the green, that we're going to drive our way to climate security through green cars. The green cars are going to save us. The amount of water they're going to use, the amount of minerals and things that are necessary in the batteries. They're not regulating the industries that are creating the lithium. In fact, they're giving them money to keep doing exactly what they keep doing. Exactly the way they treat water. It's just, the numbers are staggering. The amount of water that will be used to create this lithium in Nevada. Let me see if I can get a shot here. The amount of water that will flow through these pipes. I'm going to go get the number from Max. When you think of a ton, how many tons they're going to process coming out of this Great Basin water table using sulfuric acid.
For the water, for the non-human life forms, for
I know, I was like, that's
all those who rely on the land, which is all of us.
Can I get the
It's all
number
of us.
of how much water is used to process the lithium?
So this mine would use, the original number was 4.1 million gallons per day, but they actually revised that up recently, just in the last couple months. So it may be more like 4.5 million gallons per day.
How much to process 1 ton of lithium?
It depends on, whoops, almost dropped the phone, sorry people on the live stream. It depends on what process they're using. There's multiple ways to get lithium, and the real water intensive way, the more water intensive way, is brine, lithium brine extraction. That's different than what we're talking about here. But that requires about 500,000 gallons per 1 ton of lithium. Huge amounts of water. And that is dewatering and causing drought in huge areas of Argentina and Chile especially, but also in places like Tibet and Australia. And here in Nevada as well, at Silver Peak, there's a lithium mine. South of here, the only operating lithium mine in the United States currently. And that mine is extracting massive amounts of water from the valley, and they want to double production there and double water use. So water is a big issue. I mean, here we are in the Great Basin. This is Nevada, the driest state in the United States. We're up here about a mile above sea level. The sun is just peeking over the horizon right now. You can see the light starting to creep across Thacker Pass. In the fall, a bit of monsoon activity in the summer, but this is a very dry place. Over on this side,
Okay, well, the sun's coming up. We assume the police will be here probably in another 20 minutes, half an hour. We're gonna cut this live stream and then we'll be back. We'll be back.
Why not?
Share this out. Check us in about a half hour.